Ashford International Station is the first inland stop on HS1, the UK's first high-speed train service which links the United Kingdom with the rest of Europe. Ashford Town has a long association with the railways going all the way back to the 1800s. Not many model railways can lay claim to such a prestigious heritage, but just outside Ashford is Cliff Parsons' huge Gresley Beat layout. It was recently awarded the Railway Modeller Cup, voted for by readers of the magazine. It's also been seen and enjoyed by thousands of enthusiasts as it travelled around countless exhibitions in the UK and abroad.
It's in its 24th year since we actually started building the first spaceport, so it's really a lifetime's work. It's 15 feet wide and 30 feet long.
To create and exhibit something this size, Cliff's had help from lots of friends. Two of them, Len and Brian, are helping run the trains today. They have been involved with the Gresley Beat for many years.
It all started in my double garage in the village where I live, which is not far away from here. But because the garage was 18 by 18, we actually built the layout 15 by 16.
Right.
So all the outside of it was virtually touching the walls.
And then after about a year, Cliff got the offer of this building. We moved the business in, and then he said, "Shall we move the layout into this room?"
My wife swears that I bought the factory because of the railway room. But anyway, I disagree.
Barbara wanted the garage back to put a car in. So after we moved it in over a Christmas period, he said, "God, doesn't it look small? Shall we extend it?"
I wanted to have two 8-foot extensions, but because of the size of the room, we could only get two 7-foot extensions in. So the layout then ended up 15 by 30, so that's as it is today.
All the tracks then are arranged on different levels.
One of the things I like to see, particularly with models, is trains on embankments. I just think you can see the motion a lot better, and it becomes very boring if it's just a flat scene. So we decided that we would have the passenger lines on the lower section, and on the higher section we'd have all the goods traffic.
Do all the sections interact, or are they separate?
No, the layout basically is 4 loops, which are the up and down passenger, the up and down goods, and one end to end.
Right.
And that keeps the electrics very simple. The whole thing works on 10 wires, 5 negative and 5 positive.
Very good.
That's it. It's not actually prototypical. There's been a lot of modeller's license used to fit all the elements that I wanted in.
And these are all elements from your childhood memories, are they?
Yes, Top Shed. We used to go train spotting at Top Shed in Kentish Town quite often at the weekends, especially on a Sunday when a lot of the locos were there and there weren't many people about to shoo you away.
In the good old days.
In the good old days.
I was particularly impressed by the Victorian terraces, the accuracy of the modelling.
We decided that we'd put a Victorian street scene in there.
As a corner filler.
As a corner filler. So I asked Jeff Taylor to do the work.
Ah, right.
And as you can see, he's made an absolutely fantastic job. And it's a bit like a painting. The more you look, the more you see.
I believe he caught you out with the pub sign.
Yeah, in actual fact, when he delivered them to me, we installed them on the layout, and it wasn't for 6 months that he rang me up and he said, "You haven't mentioned about the pub sign." And it wasn't until then that I'd noticed that Lord Percy had become me overnight. He'd actually photographed me and sized it down on the computer and used it as the pub sign.
Very
which
good.
was quite a nice touch. Brian Longhurst built Cemetery Station and the ancillary warehouses to go with it.
This was in the old days when the Victorians used railways
railways to move dead bodies. What happened is, in the late 1880s, most of the churchyards in London were completely full up. They were burying people 6 deep. So the Necropolis Company got together with the Great Northern Railway Company and decided to build this station. There were 2 in London, one at King's Cross, which used to serve a big cemetery up the other side of Highgate, and there was one at Waterloo, and each train would have probably 5 or 6 funeral parties on board, and there would be 4 or 5 trains per day. But it only lasted for about 20 years.
Times changed.
Times changed. Motor transport started to take over.
Yeah.
That's
What is
right.
the building now then?
The building in our period, when we're actually modelling it, it's a furniture depository for Wearing and Gillows in Tottenham Court Road. So if you look closely, you'll see a load of packing cases underneath where the
Packing
platform
cases.
is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Roger Daltrey, lead singer of The Who, he painted all the back scenes. He's done a fantastic job. You can even see some of his brushes are still up there behind the painting. He likes to stand away from it, so he's got 4 foot long brushes.
Yes, I can see
He does the
them,
outlining
yeah.
Of the actual things, and then takes them home and fills in all the detail afterwards.
Rock stars and model railways. There seems to be quite a few involved.
Yeah, quite a few, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we've got people like Jules Holland, we've got Pete Waterman, and as a lot of your readers will probably already know, that Rod Stewart's got a fantastic layout in Los Angeles of Grand Central Station in New York.
Yeah.
I think we were all brought up in the era of the sort of late 50s, early 60s, when steam train, they were the Concorde of the day. When you were young and you saw a train going to places that you didn't even know existed, that created this sort of element of mystique. You know, where are these things going? You know, who's on board? And I think that's where it sort of captures your imagination.
So it's good that people like Roger Daltrey and Rod Stewart are happy to tell the world that they're interested in the hobby.
I think it's really important. You know, if you're in America and you put down on your CV that you're into model railroads, you'll get an interview for the job.
Yeah.
But in the UK, you put down model railways, people just think you're anoraks.
So we've got to get away from that.
Yeah, and I think
philosophy.
these guys are certainly putting it out there. It just shows you what these people can do for the hobby.
Globe-trotting rock stars may have been doing their bit to promote the hobby, and so has Cliff. The Gresley Beat layout also spends a lot of time on the road.
The idea behind the design, it's an exhibition layout.
Right.
You must remember that 90% of the people that come in are Joe Public, 10% are modellers. So, but they want to see trains run.
Lots of action.
Lots of action.
It's really a huge piece of
Logistics.
hardware to shift around. What sort of team and facilities have you got?
We have a team of 9 people. We have 1 lorry, 7.5 ton lorry, and 1 long-based Iveco truck as well. It takes approximately 6 hours to set it up. It's not just the layout, it's all the ancillary stuff that goes with it, all the control panels, the cameras. It takes about 4 hours to put on nearly 400 items of rolling stock, mostly with 3-link couplings. That's the real drudge.
Right,
you know,
the challenge.
One of those things, yeah.
What about the weight of the boards?
The weight of the boards, well, when we built this, we were all in our 40s, and they seem quite light. Now we're all approaching our 70s, they're getting heavier with every show.
As it seems to
exactly.
for everybody.
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah. You know, we get a lot of fun, we get a lot of comments, and I personally get a kick out of people actually seeing it. One of the trains that the public seem to love is the long empties going back up north to the mines, and that normally runs with something between 85 and 90 empties. And it's pulled today by a long tom, and you normally see several children out the front counting the wagons from 1 to 95, and we normally ask them at the end, and they normally got it wrong.
All on 3-link couplings?
All on 3-link couplings.
You've never had one break yet then?
No, not yet.
That's fantastic.
No. We've had it on its side a couple of times. It's pulled around the corner and something's got snagged.
Some really superb models running up and down the layout. What sort of favourites have you got?
Well, I suppose my favourite locomotive is Cock of the North. It's something that I scratch built over 45 years ago, because my daughter's 46 and I started it when my wife was pregnant. And it's been running ever since.
45 years ago?
45 years ago, yeah.
Hornby have just bought one out.
Just decided to bring one out, yeah. My other favourite loco is probably the Hush Hush.
Oh, right,
again,
yes.
It's unique. It was called the Hush Hush because it was kept under secret wraps as long as possible, so it just got the nickname the Hush Hush.
What about the future for the Gresley Beat? It's been to a lot of exhibitions, both in the UK and abroad.
Yes, I think we've got 6 shows and possibly 1 more show at York. It is a team effort. It's
Absolutely.
a team effort in building it, and it's a team effort in exhibiting it. A lot of people build layouts in their homes, and to a select close lot of friends and what have you, no one else ever sees them. I would imagine that this layout already has been seen by probably over 100,000 people.
And those thousands of visitors could well be queuing up to visit Cliff's next big project. On the derelict site of the old wagon works next to the Eurostar terminal in Ashford, Cliff has plans to build the largest dedicated model railway exhibition centre in the UK. It'll be a national home for some of the best known exhibition layouts, and Railway Modeller will be taking an exclusive look at the plans a little later in the programme.